Tuesday, September 6, 2022, on the Very Professional Daily Review, we discuss a movie from 1988 that earned Jodie Foster her first Academy Award win with the movie The Accused, with your host, me, Joe LaRocca. How is everybody doing? Everybody watching their Games of Thrones and whatnots? Getting excited for all the fun things that are coming out. Let me hit the button a few more times so it makes booping noises. Hey, there's Lucia. That's my mom's dog. She's staying with me for a week. And I bet Odie's back there doing something. Yeah, she's walking around. They kind of divide the bed in two so that they don't get in each other's space, although they get along. Okay, this is a movie that's on Hbomax that I'd heard about a million times, being a big Jodie Foster fan, and never really got around to seeing it because the subject matter made me go, why do I want to watch that? It's about a gang rape. That's like the whole plot of the movie, and you're just like, geez, I rarely feel in the mood to watch this. But when I saw that Jodie Foster won an Academy Award for it, I was like, I should check that out, 1988, it's before Silence of the Lambs. Let's just see what she can do, I mean, I don't really know tons of movies from her early career other than, I very, very well. I've seen that other one. What's that one? A Boy Named Sue or something? No, she, lives alone. The Taxi Driver, obviously, is I know incredibly well, and I'm endlessly impressed with the performances in that movie. This is Jodie Foster is, I don't know, I guess to use a derogatory term, she's white trash, and she hangs out at this bar called The Mill. The fact that she's white trash does not give any reason for I'm not saying that's why this happened, it should have been, anyway. And three men, I guess what it's famous for is they sexually accost her in a bar on a pinball machine. That's kind of the famous image of it, and that's kind of all I knew. And I just, it's one of those movies where I was just I felt like I knew too much, and I'm like, this isn't going to teach me anything. It's just going to make me feel terrible. And it kind of did that, but it did teach me stuff, and the performances are amazing. And it goes back to this idea that we've been talking about a lot, even if you know the ending, that doesn't matter too much in a story, as long as the details are interesting. It certainly takes the wind out of the sails a tiny bit. Because we were referring to Lord of the Rings stuff, why the Hobbit movies, there's kind of a little bit of tension kind of pulled away because we know that the main show is getting the ring to Mount Doom. All that happens, so this feels like a sideshow. But using that logic of no, the details are what, God's in the details. So, and especially in a movie like this, the performances. So Jodie Foster and her, she's a prosecutor, Kelly McGillis, and they're perfectly matched. Just because one's blonde and short, and one's very tall and masculine looking, and dark haired, they play off each other really well. One's super erudite and educated, and the other one's not so educated, but they're still humans, as we know. And so it's basically a procedural of what happens. I mean, the sexual accostation has taken place and the movie starts. And we do come back to it, but, in a flashback, essentially. But those first 20 minutes of Jodie Foster going to the hospital, going to the police station, going back to the bar is so harrowing and accurate in her depiction of somebody who's in shock is one of the best I've ever seen. Her voice is totally different, and she's got a raspy voice like this. Oh man, she crushed it. There's one scene in there where she's just having a conversation and she just seems kind of out of it. And I find that especially interesting when we've seen Jodie Foster so much as an iconic actress and never seen her do this exact thing that she's doing in this movie. There are the multitudes of Foster. So it's just a very terrifying, clinical, procedural court drama of what would actually happen taking people to trial. And for rape. And it is honestly, like, these are the movies that I find to be horror movies. Movies that are about, there's nothing supernatural about it, and it happens all the time, and it completely gets you to understand why somebody who is of any gender was sexually accosted might just kind of bury it because of all of the chaos that goes along with it, with the end result maybe not even being what you're looking for, or what you would consider justice. I mean, I have so much trouble when I think about these things because I can think about them in a hypothetical way, and I'm way more rational, but then I think about like a family member or my niece or something being hurt by somebody, and it's just like, oh, well, like, I don't own a gun or anything, but like, I have nothing going on in my life, and if like somebody did something so horrible to Rosie, like, I think I would just like go to New Hampshire and get a gun or whatever, and like dedicate my life to making that person's life a nightmare, you know? Like, I know that makes me sound like a sociopath, but like, and I think a lot of people are like that, though. If you're like, you can watch something on the news and be like, geez, that's crazy. But if it were your family, your significant other, your child or something, then everything kind of goes out the window. And that's what makes you think in this, like, if this had been my girlfriend, and I don't want to go into too many details, but if this had been my girlfriend, I feel like I would have, my anger would have superseded all rationality. You know, I would have just like burned the bar down like that night and been like, yeah, I burned it down. Oh, there are innocent people inside. Oh, that, you know, shit happens, I guess. You know, like, I would just lose my mind. Oops, there was a little bit too much insight into my demented brain, but don't cross me, man. I got nothing to lose. Especially after watching The Accused. I just did that because it rhymes. So it's 1988. If you're a Jodie Foster fan, you gotta see this movie for the performance. I completely agree that if you were somebody who has experience on it, I wouldn't watch it. I don't know if it'd be empowering or if it would make you feel some sort of connection to other people that this has happened to, so you don't feel alone. So maybe there are benefits to it, but like, I don't think I'd want to watch a movie. I'm trying to think of a trauma that's happened in my life. I don't think I'd want to watch a movie about somebody like kind of going in and out of maybe needing a heart transplant and stuff like that. Not that that's the same thing as being sexually accosted. I'm just thinking of the things in my life that had like a dramatic impact on my soul and brain and how I engage with the world. So I don't know. But this is one of those movies where I genuinely want to know what people think, because it's an incredibly female-heavy movie in the best way, as it should be. And there's like a huge feminist awesomeness going on in this that I think is really cool. And they're not like touting it as like, oh, it's a feminist. It's just a thing. It just makes sense that most of the people that deal with these cases are the doctors and nurses and prosecutors and stuff that are female a lot of the time. So, hey, like and subscribe if you like this. I'm here every day. You can bear as much as you want. Remember, they're not all going to be great. If you're going to write a comment like, that didn't have any research in it or whatever, just remember, this is conversational, man. I'm just telling you what I watched, telling you if I thought it was good or not, and I have impeccable taste. That's the only thing that I have that you can't argue me on. Like, if I like something and you don't like it, you're definitely wrong, and I'm definitely... I'm just kidding, but I give this movie a very solid A-. I mean, I think it's almost an A, but the subject matter is just so trying, and that's a good thing. We need movies like this, but hard to watch, man. Hard to watch. Scary. Really, really scared me because of all the reality behind taking someone to trial, having offended anything really, but just being lower on the system, you know. And Kelly McGillis is very good, but it is the Jodie Foster show for sure. And what I learned is that you can deal with lots of subject matters that make people very uncomfortable if you approach it in a tactful way, and your performances are like 100% captivating. You have to nail your characters in those scenes, in like the whole movie. I mean, you need to really build up those characters so it doesn't feel like you're using a very hot button like triggering topic just to say, hey, look, I made a movie about this. The movie I always go back to that feels like that is the Gaspar Noé movie, irreversible, which feels like it's like an exploitation film. Whereas this is just reality, almost like a documentary. Pretty horrifying. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Have a nice Tuesday. And I'll probably do something more current tomorrow. Maybe an Indian movie. I haven't watched an Indian movie in a while. I'm going to start losing my Indian subs, which would be sad. I love those guys and gals. All right. Bye. I still don't like the movie Elvis, but I like Elvis as a person.